Well, thank you very much to all of the candidates for opening addresses. We'll now turn to the questions from the floor. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer each question. So we do need to stick quite strictly to time on these. I'll hand this mic now. We do need to stick quite strictly to time because there are a lot of questions that we've got in. It's quite interesting that there's a number of questions covering broadly similar areas. I'll try to make sure that we prioritise those ones where we've had 3 or 4 questions covering the same kind of topic. To make things simpler, I'll start with Winston for the first question. We'll move along the table. For the second question, we'll start with Nigel, move along, and for the third, David, and the fourth, Tim, and so on. So we'll move straight away to our first question, which I think goes to the heart of what UKIP is all about. It's a very simple question, but a very important one as well. How does UKIP best get the message of an independent Britain through to an apathetic public? And that question comes from George Earle in Central Devon Branch. So Winston McKenzie, you can answer that one first. 1 minute, please.
The apathy within our communities has been evident for quite a few years now. And I believe, as I said when I was on the rostrum a short while ago, we really need a hands-on approach now. We really need to invigorate people. And it takes a great man to get out there and get people interested again. You can't stand by just putting things down on paper. This is a hands-on situation. This is hands-on, it's hot, it needs to be sorted. And the only way to sort it is, as I said, to have a leader or to have people within the party who have what it takes, the time and effort to get out there and make a change. It's the only way the situation is going to change.
Well, George, it isn't just apathy, it's that people today have very short attention spans. So to reach them, to connect with them, we have to have the right messages. And one that we got right in 2009 was the EU is costing you £40 million a day. It was short, it was sharp, it was snappy, it was rememberable, and London taxi drivers were quoting it back at me within days of it being on the television. So the right messaging is important, and we have to be positive. We mustn't be seen to be a fanatically anti-EU group. We've got to paint the alternative vision, and the alternative vision is we want to be friendly with Europe. We want to trade with Europe. We want to be good next-door neighbours, though we know with the French that may be tricky from time to time. And we want to push the idea that we're living in a 21st century global economy, and that is something that will get young people coming to our cause.
Thank you, Sir George, and thank you for being a centre. I think we're fighting with the centres together here. But I was going to talk about positive vision because that you know, the theme of the conference is designed really to do exactly that. Instead of talking just negatively about the downside of the EU, I think we should articulate a better Britain, independent, free, common sense Britain, stripped of all these 120,000 regulations, you know, using some of the EU money to rebuild railways here or better roads or whatever it is. You know, let's get that vision across. And I think we can do that. I've actually talked to an apolitical organisation who pledged £30,000 to do this to us. And it should be apolitical. Let's get some big speakers, maybe Tony Benn as well, you know, someone like that. And let's make it work. And, you know, this is actually happening as we speak. And I think that will make a huge difference.
Let's just be clear. The majority of people in Britain now want us to leave the European Union. The opinion polls are very clear about this. They weren't very clear 5 years ago or 15 years ago. They're now very clear. I don't think there's any single method of getting the message over. I think there's a lot of hard work. Going to be local level, post advertising, national level, it's going to be the media, newspaper articles and so on, the internet. A lot of hard work, my point of phrase, blood, sweat and tears, but we're going to get there. Thank you.
Okay, can everyone hear with this microphone? Yes. Okay, our next question, we'll move on to the question from Alec Yates from Axe Valley. And the question is, if elected leader, How will you increase our exposure on the broadcast media? And will you be able to cope with probing questions from the likes of Paxman and Humphreys? So first to answer this one, please, Nigel Farage.
Well, I think so. I've got some form in this regard, don't you? Yeah, you know, I mean, quite frankly, this is much harder than many people think. You get an awful lot of very hostile short pitch bowling. I've been through that apprenticeship, and through it, I suppose it's fair to say that I'm now seen as the face of UKIP. And that is something that hasn't happened overnight. That is something that has happened with over a decade of hard work. Over a decade when, you know, if I was asked to appear early on a Sunday morning, there was no question, UKIP came first, the family came second. And we've managed to build up that brand. And one of my key arguments to you is that we shouldn't throw that away, that as your leader, I would appear on these broadcast programmes. I know the lobby in Westminster are very keen that I win, because they see me as somebody that can provide a bit of contrast, a bit of entertainment, and without any shadow of a doubt, a bit of real opposition. And that's what we need, because the three parties out there have virtually merged into one. You can't put a cigarette paper between them.
Ladies and gentlemen, I mentioned earlier I have had the pleasure of being grilled by both Humphreys and Paxman. I do enjoy media. As I say, I do think we need, in order to grow this party, we need more media spokesmen out there on TV, on radio, etc., and broaden it. I do believe in what you, the members, have called a shadow cabinet. I'm not sure that's the right phrase, but I do think we need more spokesmen out there, media trained, properly supported with facts and figures, doing a good job in the media. Let's broaden it. Media is very important. And I would like to, if I was leader, I would say I would keep Nigel as the face of the party. I'd ask him to remain as the face of the party. He's brilliant at media. He's a brilliant orator, best in the business, I think. But what he's not good at is professionalising the party. I think it's a team effort. Let's do it a different way. Thank you.
I agree with David about the need for spokesmen. Nigel has his merits on the media. But we do need a number of spokesmen. We need to move on from being a one-man party, and some variety in the things that we say and the images we produce. And above all, we actually need some quality, impressive messages of some, substance. We need a London office. That's the way to get contacts with journalists. We need to have publications being produced in the London office and press conferences, press releases related to those publications. We need to be in London to have lunches, breakfast and dinners with journalists. I have also, on many occasions, had exchanges, always friendly exchanges with Paxman, also with Humphreys. I've written articles in the Times, the Daily Telegraph, the Mail, even the Sun. I have written hundreds of articles, I have hundreds of television performances, I'm definitely happy to be on the media in this. Thank you.
Well, Nigel, man, I've got to say you're almost as good as me. Man, listen, I just can't wait to meet Mr. Paxman. In fact, I've got my referee here, Marianne Bones. She'll be the referee. I can't wait to meet this guy, man. I've been watching him for so many years now, I just want to strangle him. I'm not even sure he's got as much education as me. But hey, look, come on a really serious point now. Listen, you watch these guys on television, these Paxmans and what's the other guy on a Sunday, I can't remember his name, but he comes on the politics program. You watch these guys, right? And they really try to get at you, they want to rush you all the time, but let me tell you, I've been in the media, albeit all the underground stations. You may have seen me a few times on the television doing my boxing and my brothers and what have you, but let me tell you, I've got the profound knowledge of the community. We need to open this party up. We need to bring in the poor and the disaffected, and that's where it begins. Okay, communication.
Okay, we'll move on to our next question. A bit more of an internal question, this one. And it's from K.R.